Salam guys, so today I'm back with another video about scholarships, written scholarships, any scholarships that you need an interview to do or a call, whatever it might be with these circumstances, and then also video scholarships, because I do see some video scholarships and there are certain ways that you want to go about these things, and I'm definitely going to give you guys a few tips. I'm also going to talk about how to be successful during interviews, how to charm the other person that is going to give you a scholarship or is going to give you some sort of opportunity. You want to be able to connect with that person, so I'm going to give you guys some tips that should help you to be able to do that. First general tip is, if it's a scholarship that's written, for example, look at the prompt and understand what they're really asking. You have to do some research on the scholarship itself. So for example, I recently did the MLK Birthday Committee Scholarship, which I'm actually filming on January 18th, so this is pretty great. So for example, a scholarship prompt that is written that you might come across is, how have you made a change this year? How has a certain person reminded you this year to be a certain characteristic trait? So if that is what they're asking you, you need to think about things that you've done, and you need to bring up some anecdotes. Maybe they're not so compelling. Maybe it's something as simple as, I talked to somebody this year, I talked to my teacher, I told them something. Something as simple as that, you can actually create a small anecdote that would support the theme of your essay. So recently my theme has been, for a scholarship that I submitted recently, my theme was activism. So I talked about how activism has changed in my lifetime and how I've grown to expand my definition of activism and to do more work for all communities. So something like that has a story, a timeline, chronologically, or maybe you want to be more creative with it and make it more fragmented. But it is better to just have a line that goes through your written scholarship essay, a line that goes through that, basically a line of reasoning. If you take an AP Lang, then you know what I'm talking about when this line of reasoning comes up. But the line of reasoning is basically that your paragraphs are all connected, so your theme has to connect your paragraphs. So this is basically how to create a written scholarship and how to cater to them. You have to do research on the organization. You need to know what traits they want. They want those to be highlighted for them. So that's what you need to be writing about discreetly, and you have to think about what you've done that coincides with their values. Okay, so next up, for interviews, if you've had to do a scholarship where there's an interview or a follow-up, or they call you and basically to sponsor you for something. So for these, you want to get a feel, like practice some questions on yourself. Another video I'm going to go through how to do that more in depth, but basically practice questions about yourself, get used to talking about yourself, think about things that you want that person across the table to know about you. Practice asking just the simplest questions to yourself, like, what's your passion? Introduce yourself. You know, people don't want to know your name, age, all that. They want to know, well, yes, they do want to know your name, but they also want to know what you're interested in. So you need to be prepared in that aspect, and definitely communicating with your counselor if that's available to you, with a friend, somebody who's done it before, or just learning more about how you can actually engage in a conversation and make that person that's sitting across from you understand that you really want this. So when you do, you need to be practiced answers, but don't make them like obviously rehearsed. So basically just practice questions. You can search up interview questions, common interview questions, and how to go about them while staying true to yourself, and think about more stories that you could tell people, that you could loop into an answer, so that it makes it more interesting for the interviewer and for them to have and know a little bit more about you. And also, of course, research is the most important thing out there. You should know a lot about your organization or whoever they're posing this question, or I mean the scholarship for, because these scholarships are usually dedicated to somebody. Know the values of that person and make sure that your values reflected. For a video submission, make sure that the video you're creating, it depends if they have a prompt or whatever it might be, but if you're creating a video, make sure that you are dressed in a way that you want to represent you. Additionally, make sure that you are high energy or your tone is perfect. Don't be monotonous, because when you're monotonous, nobody wants to watch that video. So be engaging. Change your tone. Make sure when you're speaking that you're not speaking monotonously and that you're speaking with some energy behind your words, or just whatever the video is that you're making, follow the tone that you would like to see for that video. So if I'm talking about MLK, I'm going to speak with a lot of reverence, and I'm going to speak passionately because I want to show that I really respect and honor MLK's memory, and also that I am emboldened by his words and they stir something within me, and so they have an effect on me. So I want to show that I am passionate about that. So that should reflect in my tone. Make sure that you have a fitting tone for your videos, and make sure that if you're struggling with creating that video, just practice makes perfect. Do it over and over and over again. Dedicate some time to it until you feel like you have a product that you're proud of. And even if you don't get that scholarship, at the very least you've created something that you've done well with and you can be proud of. And happy MLK Day to everyone. I hope you use this day to do a lot of service, to be proud of yourselves, and to work to connect your community a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to be back with more videos on interviews. I'm going to talk about resumes, how to get a job when you're a teenager, because it can be really difficult to get a job when you're a teenager with no experience. People don't trust you. It's a little bit difficult, so I'm going to talk about my experiences with that, how I secured some jobs, and how to get started with the whole process. So I'm going to do some more videos about that, maybe make it a series, and be able to help you guys from there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'm definitely available to answer any questions. You can just leave them down below. I'm going to leave any resources. I didn't talk about explicit resources, but there are scholarships that I will leave down below for people to apply to. They're for the year. One of the most common ones for college kids is College Board. If you haven't done it already and you're class of 2021, I'm sorry, but they do still have some openings for the College Board. They're big opportunity, big future scholarship or whatnot, so that's a pretty easy scholarship entry. All you have to do is like practice for the SAT, raise your SAT score, show that you've applied to some colleges, list them. Get started now. Compile some scholarships because most of them are due in April. Get started now and don't stress out too much, because at the end of the day, if you create a product that you're proud of, then if you don't get that scholarship, there's going to be another way. Trust me, there will be another way. I'm wishing you all the best of luck. If you have questions, leave them down below. I will link all the resources that I have alluded to down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to come back for next time. Hey guys, I would really appreciate if you gave me, I'm going to be giving all of that advice in future videos as well as this one. So if you like these kind of videos, please make sure to subscribe to encourage me to post a little bit more. And thank you so much for watching. مع السلامة.